For this installment of the Digital Prison series, I will focus on a few senators. The senators that I will mention are Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona, Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, Mark Warner of Virginia, and Cynthia Lummis of Wyoming. I am bringing up Cynthia Lummis because she shows up to the Texas Blockchain Council meetings. Oops, correction. I just saw that they changed their name to the North American Blockchain Council. I keep saying Texas is a part of the global agenda, and people still think I'm nuts. The North American part shouldn't be a surprise. After all, during the Obama years when Perry was governor, they pushed through the International Highway 69 that runs from Mexico through Houston and into Canada. Back then, people were concerned about the North American Union. So listen to the head of the Blockchain Council, Mr. Lee Bracher. He's very proud of this union.
Hey guys, I'm excited to share some big news with you today. For the last few years, the Texas Blockchain Summit has been at the nexus of innovation, ideas, and collaboration right here in the heart of Texas. We've brought together some of the brightest minds and visionaries in the Bitcoin blockchain and digital assets ecosystems, and the results have been nothing short of transformative. As we continue to expand the reach of the TBC beyond our borders, we're thrilled to announce that the Texas Blockchain Summit has been rebranded the North American Blockchain Summit. This name change reflects our growing partnerships with other entities like the US Blockchain Coalition, the Canadian Blockchain Consortium, Satoshi Action, the Digital Chamber, the Blockchain Association, and amazing state blockchain associations like the one in Florida, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Washington, Oregon, and Ohio, just to name a few. This is not just a name change, it's a mission, a commitment to bring together the entire continent in a conversation about the future of this industry in North America.
Anyway, back to Senator Lummis. So I will start with her own website. Her and some of her senator buddies launched the Financial Innovation Caucus. The senators involved are Cynthia Lummis of Wyoming and Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona, who showed up to the recent Davos meeting in 2022. Also joining the crowd was John Hickenlooper of Colorado and Tim Scott of South Carolina. These two showed up to the same Davos meeting in 2016 with Greg Abbott. I showed that in a previous video. Also showing up to the caucus were Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, Mike Braun of Indiana, and Bill Cassidy of Louisiana. They want financial innovation to be more inclusive, safe, and prosperous. Why do we need financial innovation? Oh, that's right, the economy's collapsing. They also want to empower innovation, protect consumers, and, of course, guide regulation. As a side comment, I will mention FTX. Many of the talking heads blame Democrats for this crypto collapse. They are still stuck in the right-left paradigm. However, Bitcoin was a government operation. Yet many people still push the story of some nameless South Korean or someone inventing Bitcoin for the purpose of freedom. What a joke. Democrats were only part of the story. After Bitcoin was tested on the public, it was time for a change. Playtime in the Wild West was over. The implosion of FTX was intentional, initiated by Peter Thiel, who's a good buddy of Ted Cruz, by the way. The event now gave the controllers the excuse to bring regulation. As I showed in my first digital prison video, regulation was already being discussed at the World Summits. Here's a list of items being promoted on Senator Lummis's website. Responsible financial innovation. Distributed ledger technology. That's another term for blockchain. Also being promoted are digital assets, like CBDC or Bitcoin. Artificial intelligence and machine learning, of course. Data management. Consumer protection. Combating money laundering, I find this one funny because the politicians aren't going to fix something that could affect their wallets. And let's not leave out faster payments. The controllers want their money now. And of course, central bank digital currencies. Note that Senator Lummis also shows up to the Texas Blockchain Council meetings on Bitcoin. Still don't think CBDC and Bitcoin are connected somehow? The right-left paradigm will tell people that they are different, that CBDC is evil and Bitcoin is good. But this is false. Neither are for your benefit. And finally, promoting financial inclusion and opportunity for all. Does that mean illegals also? Now, what I found interesting is that what is on Lummis's site is basically the same thing that is on Senator Sinema's and Blackburn's website, almost verbatim. This is funny to me. It's like they copy and pasted their websites. But some people will understand why, because their talking points are handed to them from higher up. This reminds me of those local newscasts that read the same script from their teleprompter across the country. I'm sure you've seen those videos. Here is from Kyrsten Sinema's site. And here is from Marsha Blackburn's site. And just scroll down a little further on Lummis's site, you will see she also mentions Bitcoin. So in other words, she is promoting Bitcoin and CBDCs. Interesting, right? Then right towards the end, her site mentions China and the digital yuan. So we have to be competitive with China in the realm of international finance. In other words, this is more escalation talk, like mutually assured destruction. If we don't make it, they will. And why does the US have to be competitive with China if China already compromised our government? They are basically one and the same now. Here's another deal that Lummis and Sinema worked on together. Proposed Bill 884, just introduced on July 11th, 2023. Introduced by Sinema and co-sponsored by Lummis. It involves the subject of digital IDs. This focuses on digital driver's licenses and birth certificates. Boy, I bet Obama wished that were around when he was born. Much easier to alter. This bill will also support identifying the government agencies that issue ID credentials. It will recommend a strategy for digital identity verification that issues privacy and equity. Also identifies the resources needed for government adoption. What I also find fascinating is that the committee to be involved with this is the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs. Homeland Security? Another bill I decided to take a quick look at again was the Build Back Better bill. It was also known as the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, or H.R. 5376. It became law in August of 2022. 1 year later, we have a place to build back better at Lahaina. I believe Peter Thiel, good buddy of Ted Cruz, had property in Hawaii. I will have to look that up again. The reason I bring up the Build Back Better bill again is that I took a look at the votes. It was split down the middle, 50 Republican nays and 50 Democrat yays, decided by the VP. I bet when that was decided a year ago, all those conservative types were saying to themselves, "Yeah, we're sticking it to Biden." However, in reality, they are all on board with Build Back Better. So why the stage show for the masses? Well, divide and conquer, of course. Wow, how time has flown. I don't like doing long videos, so I'm going to end this one here. Even though there's more I wanted to say on this particular segment of this digital prison episode, I will have to save the rest for the next one. Thanks for watching.
The Federal Reserve Board of Governors will soon be releasing a discussion paper on a potential United States central bank digital currency. Additionally, the President's Working Group on Financial Markets is expected to release a set of recommendations relating to the supervision of stablecoins in the coming weeks. Mr. President, I want to lay out my views on central bank digital currencies and stablecoins in advance of these coming discussions. I am supportive of the Federal Reserve Board's efforts to study how a central bank digital currency, or CBDC, may be appropriate in the United States. I want to lay out what I believe are the key tenets of a consumer-focused United States central bank digital currency, including factors such as legitimate need, financial inclusion, programmability, privacy, and avoiding systemic risk. My comments are only focused on a consumer-focused central bank digital currency, as an interbank or wholesale central bank digital currency is a different proposition. It is important to note that the United States dollar is already digitized. That is, it has been reduced to electronic form. Most Americans predominantly use electronic means of banking every day. And interbank settlement also takes place through electronic channels. These payment rails are generally electronic commercial bank money. However, a CBDC would be central bank money, which represents a direct claim on the Federal Reserve System. Is financial inclusion. About 5.4% of households in the United States do not have a bank account as of 2019, with a further 18.7% of the population being underbanked. A CBDC should meaningfully reduce these statistics. A CBDC also has the potential to reduce the cost of payments for both depository institutions and consumers by removing existing frictions in sending money. The programmability of a CBDC will also likely promote financial inclusion by giving consumers more control over their money, allowing those from disadvantaged backgrounds access to the latest technology features. Programmability at its core is the technological means to specify the automated behavior or control logic of money in a manner that is tied to the actual value itself. Programmability focuses on the characteristics of money, including the identity of the owner, the amount of money being transferred, and the conditions under which the outside world can interact with that money. Or preventing your child from buying ice cream except on Fridays. A central bank digital currency should also be future-proofed with a core code that can be adapted to fully meet future demands and which also contains room for value-added services built upon the CBDC architecture. We cannot allow a CBDC to become a panopticon, or an all-seeing eye, as will soon be the case with China's central bank digital currency, with Congress having the final say on the future of physical cash.